something wrong with the soap.
It's fine. Just filled it. Give it a few more pumps there.
Brush your teeth, a hero. Ejaculate into a soap dispenser, a hero.
Боже мой.
One of the best parts of Deadpool 2, and there are many, is the character Domino, played by Zazie Beetz. Her whole superpower is that she's non-specifically lucky. Things just always seem to work out for her. Unfortunately, that luck did not apparently apply to her stunt double, who died on set in the craziest, most unlucky way possible. The stunt woman, Joy S.J. Harris, had been rehearsing a stunt scene that involved driving a motorcycle out of a building, across a concrete pad, and down a ramp that had been built over 3 stairs, and then coming to a stop on the stair landing. During the first shooting of the scene, she, for some unclear reason, drove past the planned stopping spot and struck the concrete sidewalk curb and was thrown off the motorcycle and propelled through a plate glass window of a building. This resulted in injuries that led to her untimely death and a huge fine for the movie for safety violations. She wasn't even wearing a helmet. But what's truly strange about the whole thing is that she was never going more than 10 miles per hour. And she was an extremely experienced motorcycle rider, though to be fair, this was her first movie stunt. It wasn't really anything that anybody could have predicted. What is easy to predict, though, is that somebody will probably drown on a James Cameron movie someday. He once almost drowned the stars of The Abyss and himself, but apparently this wasn't just a one-off mistake because dude does it all the time. A similar thing almost happened when he was filming Titanic, although let's be honest, making that movie was kind of tempting fate. The sequence of the ship sinking alone broke the bones and ruptured the organs of several actors, and Kate Winslet says she almost drowned. During one scene you don't remember because nobody is fully naked, Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio are below decks and outrunning a big wave. They encounter a gate and manage to get it open, but during one take, Winslet's gigantic old-timey coat got caught on the gate and she was dragged beneath the water. She managed to wriggle out of the coat, but not before she reached the point where she felt like her lungs were going to burst. Cameron downplayed the incident as an actress being dramatic, pointing out that Winslet got right back to work and commenting, "We simply let Kate think she was nearly drowning. You know, for dramatic purposes." But Winslet said that she didn't want to look like a wimp and that the shoot was so excruciating that on some days she'd wake up thinking, please God, let me die. Winslet also had a fun time filming underwater scenes because she was weighted down 12 feet below the surface of a water tank and given an air supply, but sometimes ended up sucking in water instead. And because she was wearing a dress instead of a wetsuit, she came down with pneumonia. By that point, it's possible that she was actually praying for Cameron's death, but that would be kind of rude to admit in an interview. But at least some directors sort of help make sure their actors don't fully die, like in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, where Daniel Craig played Dragon Tattoo? Boy, we kind of forgot all about that series, but anyway, Fincher cared about the movie enough to let Craig pass out during filming, so yay. Craig had to be lifted into the air with a plastic bag over his head and act like he was being suffocated, which was actually pretty easy to do because he was being suffocated. To determine the difference between fiction and reality, Craig was handed a small metal object, presumably the totem from Inception, to hold in one hand. If it fell to the floor, that would mean that he had fallen unconscious for real. And indeed, Fincher heard the metal hit the ground, stopped the scene, and let him off early for the day once he regained consciousness. There's no word on whether Craig also got a beer fridge for his troubles. Thankfully, the horrifying stunt mishap that probably should have happened on set for The Lord of the Rings never did. Because one morning on the set of Return of the King, a New Zealand army officer showed up as everyone was digging into first breakfast, and he carefully explained that they might find rockets and bombs all over the ground while filming, and they should definitely not touch those things or kick them or dig any holes. The army wasn't exaggerating or just playing a prank either. Carl Urban says that sometimes when you look down in the middle of a fight scene, you'd see something like a bomb's fins coming out of the ground. As running around and jumping up and down isn't recommended when you're on a literal minefield, the army came in every day to clean up the area and remove as many bombs as they could. At one point, some of the area was sealed off with tape, which caused Viggo Mortensen to ask if everything outside that was safe, and apparently the answer was still no. The area outside the tape just had fewer bombs. In the shot where Aragorn and the others ride towards the Black Gate, Peter Jackson was particularly anxious about mines. He remembered the army outlining the zone that was cleared, and he thought that the actors might have gone a little outside that zone, and they were terrified that somebody was going to ride their Oliphant over a friggin' landmine. Luckily, it turned out okay, and we didn't end up with a Fellowship of the In Memoriam at the Oscars.